A very good morning to one and all. With the blessings of the Almighty and our beloved Founder Chancellor, Colonel Dr. J.P.R. Sir, we've all gathered here virtually for celebrating the World Water Day, organized by the Center for Ocean Research, jointly with the Center for Remote Sensing and Geoinformatics and Department of Civil Engineering in association with the Earth Science and Technology Cell, Ministry of Earth Sciences, and with the IUCN Commission on Ecosystem Management. On behalf of the Center for Ocean Research, I take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to our patrons and our higher management, Sathyabama Institute of Science and Technology, for their constant guidance, support, and encouragement in all our activities. Now, let us get into our last technical session of a 5-day online faculty development program on sustainability, conservation, and protection of water resources. We have with us today Dr. Gagan Matta, Senior Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology and Environmental Science, Gurukula Kangri University, Haridwar. Before getting into our technical session, I would like to introduce our speaker. Dr. Gagan Matta is working as an Assistant Professor in the Department of Zoology and Environmental Science, Gurukula Kangri University, Haridwar, with a teaching experience of 11 years and research experience of 15 years. Dr. Matta has published more than 80 research papers and authored and edited around 23 books. He is a recipient of a number of awards, including being selected as a member of BRICS Youth Delegation in the BRICS Youth Summit in 2017 in China. He has completed 5 major research projects and currently 2 projects are ongoing. Dr. Matta visited more than 12 countries and was selected as a member and fellow of many prestigious bodies, including the Royal Society of Chemistry, London. His areas of interests are freshwater conservation, modeling, and science communication. We are pleased to have you with us today, sir. Over to you for the technical session.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me and giving me this responsibility to present in front of you all. I have chosen the topic water conservation. First of all, I would like to say good morning, very good morning to all of you. The topic which I have chosen is water conservation through science communication under SDG Goal 6. As we all know that water is one of the prestigious things we are right now having with us. And it is believed that until and unless we do not understand and we do not realize our responsibility for the conservation of water, we cannot conserve the humanity on earth. So while taking this thing, I have decided to correlate the science communication part under Sustainable Development Goal 6 for the conservation of water. It is very much clear that plenty of water is available on earth. That is 71% of the total earth hemisphere. But the fresh water availability is just 2.5% of that 71%. Out of which we are using for drinking, for industrial, for commercial, for domestic other uses, is just 1% which is available to us. Else, rest of it is available in the form of ice and glaciers in Arctic, Antarctic, and other parts of the earth. But do we have ever realized that what is the use of water? What is the role of water in our entire life system, entire survival on earth of humanity? Not only the humanity, but for the entire living form on the earth. From drinking, from sanitation, from washing clothes, from eating, making food, for cultivating food, for making utensils, for making industrial products, from automobiles, even for having the recreational things, the plants, animals, they also need the water similar like we do. One more thing I always say, that water is not only belongs to the humanity, it is more belongs to the other living forms like plants and animals. Why so? Because we can have some technologies, we can have some arrangements like we can purchase water if it is not available in our region. We can have technologies that we can filtrate or we can reconvert the seawater or muddy water to as a fresh water through using certain technological methodologies. But animals have to depend on that fresh water available in the nature and even in the plants. Why I'm saying this? Because in many industrial areas, many newly established colonies, which are very nearby to protected areas, are openly discharging their wastewater in the local river bodies, near small tributaries, channels, and even dumping into the groundwater too, which is directly or indirectly creating a very big problem for plants and the living forms residing in the soil, which is basically kind of are decomposers and very much required for the nourishment and growth of agriculture fields. Here you can easily see how much our water is important. From a born of a child in every religion to death of any person in any religion, we put water in the mouth first. That is the most important part we see in our daily life. But with all this such importance, you can find percentage of global population and the availability of water, fresh water resources. If we look into the Asia's part, 60% population and 36% is just availability of the water. Population in 40% population increases, reaching 9 billion by 2050. 70% of the fresh water withdrawal made by agriculture. We want food. Maybe number of new technologies has came up that we require food while growing in the labs, from tissue culture to the modern technologies of different various agriculture plants. But the water is the most important part we require. And if we see that the level of water, fresh water, is declining across the globe, majorly in the developing and developed countries, underdeveloped countries, you can see and understand how much we are going to face in next 20 or 30 years. Fresh water is one of the most prestigious. If in India, if we count it as nectar, in rivers, we counted them mothers. We call River Ganga as Ma Ganga, but Ma Yamuna. But the water which we are polluting is the humanity, is the humankind for our personal usage. You can easily see in these pictures from waste of plastics, from food waste to bottles, the plastic bottles and other garbages, the industrial open discharge. Earlier, in like 3 to 4 years back or 5 years back, I believe, many parts of River Yamuna, River Ganga in different parts of the country are facing very much disastrous pollution loads openly discharged into the river system. And I truly believe that it is the initiative of the government and many NGOs, and I believe that people participation at regional level, which has motivated many youngsters to come forward, many NGOs, many big corporate organizations to get involved for the conservation of river systems. And it is one of the most important part which we require for the survival of humanity on Earth. You can see the current water crisis which we are facing right now, or the total of the world's 332.5 million cubic meters of water, about 96% is saline, 4% is fresh water. But we can see that out of this 4%, 30% is groundwater. Where we are going, we are actually polluting. Many number of rivers have been degraded. The river systems are completing in the destroying phase. Why so? Because the tremendous rise in the population, the demand needed to be fulfilled for the survival of that population. And even many things like we buy or purchase for our pleasure, but we do not understand whether directly or indirectly it will harm to our environment or our nature. Water conservation is one of the most important aspects. Why? I give you two examples. If we see our human body like the earth, 60% of our human body is water, filled with water. The body uses water to transport nutrients and oxygen throughout the body. Lubricants and cushions joints, like in any mechanical part, mechanical instrument, we use grease and oiling. That water, similarly, the water being used as lubricant and cushions in our joints in our body. It protects the organs and tissues. It removes the waste. Else, in our stomach, there are plenty of very high toxic acids are developed, which could even destroy the entire our body, entire body system. It regulates the body temperature. It contributes in majorly for the digestion. And if we look into the other parts, you can see on the rightmost side diagram that fresh water uses are from residential to golf course to parks, that is for the recreational, and from industries, toilets, clothes, shower, leaks, baths, number agriculture sectors. Every drop of water counts. It has given very much pressure on the system that water is one of the things which is very, very, very much important in next 20 years. And you will see that it will be the most important factor, even in the gold will be having the less price in the water. The global stress, water stress hotspots, if you see in the diagram, you can easily see this is the data from World Meteorological Organization 2021. You can easily see that what India level is. If we see in India and the Asia level is, Central Asia, India, Eastern Asia, you can see the stress level. India is the single most country which is facing a lot of in South Asia. If we see nearby countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, it is in less in number, but due to heavy rise in population and to fulfill the demand and supply for the population, we are very much going towards and we are under stress for the water crisis. There are certain goals. Before that, we can understand why we need water conservation. These are the 16 Sustainable Development Goals, which were taken into consideration in 2015 by United Nations for different understanding the role of different issues, global issues. And if you can see from no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and cleaning energy, decent work and economic growth, and every other sustainable development goal, directly or indirectly associated with conservation and continuous use of water. If we see, I directly say how the two, when I was going through making the presentation, I have given the ticks on almost all the sustainable development goals that water is required in all these things. But I have two major issues which I have gone through, that how in the gender equality and this reduced inequalities can, in these two goals, how water conservation can play a role. Of course, gender equality in many parts of the rural India or in other Asian countries, you will find that women are very much bound to go into kilometers and kilometers to take water. Still, there is a condition in some rural parts of countries, different countries, and even in the African continent. So if we provide and if we conserve fresh water in that areas, and if we promote the water conservation methodologies, you will easily have the benefit of health, benefit of working efficiency of the women who are struggling for their families to collect the water. And if we see the reduced inequalities, definitely, if we see the global leaders, we will find that more than 30-35% there are women who are working very nicely in every sector. So if we bound them to work or if we bound them to struggle for water, so it will give not their efficiency to the other parts, other management things. So it will definitely, if we conserve the water, definitely the gender equality issue will be solved, reduced inequality will be solved, and rest all the things, peace, justice, strong institutions, definitely. Because today, if you can see, the world is very much struggling for environmental resources, quality of environment, quality of organic food. So if we conserve the water directly or indirectly, from good education, from quality education to good health, everything is correlated with the water. So I put this slide to make you all aware that these sustainable development goals are very much global issues, which are directly and indirectly correlated from every region of the world to the entire continents and to the entire globe. So this all requires water conserved from regional level to the global level. Now, there is in last 3 years, we have almost 3 years, I believe, 2 years. We believe that the world has faced the tremendous pressure, tremendous outbreak of COVID-19 virus. And since very first day, from our childhood, our ancestors, our parents always say, don't eat food with the dirty hands. Don't eat food in dirty utensils. Don't cook food in dirty kitchen products. Don't wear dirty clothes. And the same thing, after so many years, has came in front of us in the COVID phase, where the first precaution and prevention to counter the COVID-19 is clean water, washing hands, sanitization, and in all, wash. That means wash means water and sanitation hygiene. And if we see directly or indirectly, fresh water requires water, biodiversity, agriculture, mineral, fuels, electricity, and from fighting against the diseases and the viruses. If we see in the rightmost diagram, you will find for the every segment, every part of precaution and prevention of COVID-19, from isolation centers to home isolations to public movement of any individual for buying any groceries or anything, for hospital treatments, for requirement of products, requirement of hospital medical facilities in the medical centers. Water is the basic thing. Even for making the sanitizers, the water was required mostly. So you will find that why water conserve is so much important, that even in the COVID-19 phase, it has played the first most important part. Although even after the vaccination, today also, we use continuous use of sanitizers, we use masks. But first we use, whenever I go to my home, before touching anything, I just wash my hands, and it's required clean water. So it is very much important that we should understand the water need of water. Now, the conservation. It is another slide which make us understand that water gives economical benefits, it preserves our environment, it helps to strengthen our communities, our future generation, also to give recreational value, and most importantly, it has the ecological value, biodiversity value. Any biodiversity could not survive without water. Conservation of water is the practice of using water efficiently to reduce unnecessary water usage. If we look into the understanding that water is a product given to us by nature, which we need to conserve for our own survival. If we conserve the water today, we will save our future from the droughts, from the rising temperature, and different aspects of degradation, environmental degradation happening today, which will reflect in the near future. These are certain more slides which give us how we can conserve the water, like recharging of the groundwater with the different conservation methods. We use water treatment plants for the wastewater, openly discharging from industrial effluents, domestic complexes, commercial complexes, industrial complexes. So we must, students, even from taking a glass for drinking, and if we put back, we leave the half water that I've taken enough water for right now. So we do not keep that water throw into any sink or anything like that. If you want, we can just have a full glass of water instead of throwing outside the half or a small part of that water. Now, the science communication. We have talked about the water. We have talked about the conservation. Now, what is the role of science? First, we should understand that science communication is the practice of informing, educating, raising awareness of science-related topics, and increasing the sense of wonder about scientific discoveries and arguments. Science communication is between the experts, is between the scientists, between the government agencies, it is between the public. And if we create a web, I'll show you somewhere in the next slide, then we can easily understand how this web is correlated. Earlier, before the internet has came up, the science communication has not been given such importance. The science has always been kept into in the regime of certain scientists or a particular educated people, particular class of educated people, which make us bound today to make more richer. If we understand, if we see in the Corona period, every fake information, every fake treatment methodology of the COVID-19 randomly shared by unknowingly random persons was countered through use of social media with the help of experts involving government agencies and communicators from the public, from the common masses, in all together to communicate actual information to the public. It has given very good outcome and very good results. These are some of the things how the science communication works. Left, it is one of my papers, graphical abstract, which I really wanted to share with you. That science company, I have for the current presentation, I have taken the sustainable development goal, but right now I'm working with goal number 3, 4, and 6 altogether for COVID-19, along with the taking use of tools of science communication. And if you see in the right side, between the government and the experts, it is the evidence-based things happen. And in the government and the public, the openness. Government should share the open things. And if we talk about the discussion between the public and the expert, it should be like strategic. We should understand the requirement of the population. We should understand the understanding level, the age group, the issues they are facing, the common masses. Then only experts would advise the government to implement certain policies, implement certain plans, share the information, even of the particular region. Like if we see some rural areas of Karnataka or rural area of Rajasthan, where the people do not understand, maybe do not understand Hindi, the old age people, but we must understand they are also the major part of the society. If any single person is affected by any virus or bacteria, it could be counted as a carrier. It could be counted as a transporter for that virus. So we have to understand in the science communication part, from an age group of 5 years old child to a person of 70 years old, we must make sure the policy, the guidelines, the precaution and the prevention which we are sharing, or any information, or even from the conservation of water, for being good health, for being living in a good sanitized or clean environment, to countering any, to helping, to contributing in any sustainable development goal, we must share the information without any linguistic barrier, without any regional barrier, without any age barrier, without any class barrier, without any literacy barrier. Now, it is a diagram I have designed for a paper for my social behavior in the field of COVID-19, with how science communications and science can play a very positive behavior change part during any epidemic or endemic. Science communicators have a very important role for do this thing, and the audience define and the expertise level of science knowledge varies from each group. How? If we see any, if we talk to any old COVID patient, even I was also affected by the COVID-19 Delta variant, I've experienced that very negative thoughts came up when I was hospitalized. Very different things has happened into my mind. But I believe that I have to go back to home. I have a child, I have a family, I have friends. So I have to go back to home. But there are certain times where people lived in isolation part. Then it is very much important the science communication could play for being a positive behavior change by getting clear knowledge, authenticate knowledge. How? We must have a source of information for anything, not only for COVID-19, for anything, for the government websites, from the sources where like WHO, MyGov app, here the information is given, always been authentic. So we must see that how science communication is playing in our daily life and what will be its future in next couple of years. Need of science communication. It is very important top aspect, and I really wanted to share with you why. Because right now what I'm doing is I'm communicating science. I'm communicating the things, understanding for the water conservation, correlating with Sustainable Development Goal 6. So need of science communication is like sharing the science facts and scientific evidence to inform public decision making wherever possible. This is why science communication is important. As such, the act of science communication should also be evidence-based. Research on science communication, analysis, what works and what doesn't, and audience are defined, and the expertise level of science knowledge varies each group. Earlier, I already said that science communication should be evidence-based. It should give the proof. Like I want to understand something into physics or something into the space technology. So it should be given to me that space has this much such and such things. These are the outcomes. Like how we understand that we have reached to the Mars. We are testing the soil of the Mars. It is only and only by when we give the samples. Our rover is there. Similarly, if we test the water quality, then if we find the TDS after beyond 500 or WTD find number and DO we find like 2 or 3, then we will understand, because these are the standard methods, standard by methods we have we have calculated, we have assessed the water quality, and by the standard readings which we have given to us by Bureau of Indian Standards, EPA, WHO, that what level of cleanliness, what level of the parameters should be there that we should go for the water as for a drinking purpose or for domestic, for the commercial or for the agriculture. Now, the science communication is centers the connection between the science and the community. I'm doing research, I'm doing science in my laboratory. I'm publishing number of papers, I'm publishing books. Whether these outcomes are going to for the society? No. Why? Because I'm writing in a scientific language. I'm writing in a language which only a science person could understand, or maybe some part of it could be understood by a good, very high educated people. But what about there are number of people who are living in rural areas, not only in India, across the world. From if you see this, we have to look for the global part, but start from the regional part. Even in many parts of the Uttar Pradesh, even I'm living in Haridwar, Uttarakhand. Many rural areas are there where people do not understand the English. Okay, I write in Hindi, but still they are not much aware about what is science. They do not know what is the laptop. They do not know what is a microscope. They do not know what is a bacteria. It's COVID is there. What is COVID? Bimari. It's a disease. So similarly, it needs to be understood. It increases the confidence. If we make them understand, it increases the confidence towards scientific information. Earlier, there are many people who are not accepting that we have to take the vaccination. But we make them understand. So today, most of the global population is now being vaccinated by COVID-19 vaccinations. Science communication ensures people right to benefit from the advances of sciences. And there are also, if we implement or if we means the government implements any policy, any conservation plans, it will definitely help to involve people participation, and it will definitely make any policy, any plan to start from any region with the people participation. Science communication breaks down the barriers of scientific research and allows everyday people to understand its importance and how it can affect. If we want to solve problems, make improvements, and create change, we need to make knowledge accessible. It is a collective effort. Science is today, in 2022, science is not just a science which belongs to any laboratory, any research journal, or any selected masses from the community. But it now belongs to the society because we are doing every science for the society. We have to solve different issues, every issue of sustainable development goals to solve, to make the society, make the humanity, make the living form live on earth. Else it will be very difficult to survive with the continuous increase in the population. And if we see the records, by 2050, we will going to see something around 9 billion people on earth. So how much pressure we will put on our natural resources if we don't understand the importance of natural resources, our water, and our mother earth. I'm just showing this paper as a, we have, from my lab, the paper was published in Nature, and it is very much open access. If you'd like to see, any of the student or any faculty members would like to see, you can just go ahead. You have to just, I will share with the organizers. Now, we will come to the Sustainable Development Goals. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, adopted by all United Nations members, states in 2015, provides a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet. Now, into the future. At its heart are the 17 sustainable goals, which are an urgent call for action by all countries, developed and developing, in a global partnership. They recognize that ending poverty and other deprivants must go hand in hand with the strategies that improve health, education, reduce inequality, and spur economic growth, all while tackling climate change and working to preserve our oceans and forests. This is the main logo of Sustainable Development Goals. These are the goals which I have already discussed with you. And if you can find that every major regional and global issue has been covered in these goals. So this is what I focused today for the giving in front of you. A brief about Sustainable Development Goals. Taken their official linguistics, they made the logos, and it is to minimize the linguistic barrier, because they are the top 6 languages of the world as the United Nations counts. And you can make every day count for the Sustainable Development Goal and for the conservation and sanitation facility. It is the United Nations and the Sustainable Development Goals who clearly defines that 2.2 billion people around the world still lack safely managed drinking water, including 785 million without basic drinking facilities. How? See the women who are struggling, who are taking so big 20 or 15 liters of matkas on their head. How much they are putting the pressure on their forehead, on the head. Why? Just to feed their families. That's what I was saying. The Sustainable Development Goals, the clean water and the sanitation, and overall the conservation of water, not only for the Sustainable Development Goal, but it is for the survival of every humanity, every living form on the earth. More than 800 children under the age 5 die every day from diarrhea caused by contaminated water, poor sanitation, and unsafe hygiene. But we believe the global water and sanitation crisis can be solved within our lifetimes. That's why we are focused on ensuring clean water, sanitation, and hygiene, wash for every person in every community we work in, including the most vulnerable population in the hardest to reach places. This work is more important now than ever, since clean water is essential for hand washing and disinfection to prevent the spread of diseases like COVID-19 and more coming diseases in the near future. These are the certain information. I just share this clean water benefits and information with the organizers. Now, need of clean water is a major for cherishing our way of life, depends on clean water. How? For the healthy ecosystem, wildlife habitat, places to fish, paddle, surf, and swim. Even for our economy, depends on clean water for manufacturing, farming. So I'm already telling you that we should avoid wasting water. Even we must avoid wasting resources which are directly or co-directly associated with the water. The sanitation, you can easily see that possible wash interventions to prevent COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2 transmission, from washing hands, from having water for drinking, for sanitization, for cleaning the surfaces, and for even for the disposal of biomedical waste. Sanitization refers to public health conditions related to clean drinking water and treatment and disposal of human excreta and sewage. Preventing human contact with faces is a part of sanitation and is the hand washing with soap. This right side image clearly defines that how the infection reaches to us, which we have already been created. So it is very much important to understand the sanitization, need of clean water and hygiene. In 2020, 54% of the global population, more than 4.2 billion people, use the safely managed sanitization services across the globe. This information is for the across the globe. Over 1.7 billion people still do not have basic sanitation. That means around 170 crore people do not have the basic sanitation facilities. In 2020, 45% of the household wastewater generated globally were discharged without safe treatment. 45%, if you understand the level of contamination, it has been passed. Then poor sanitation is linked to the transmission of diarrheal diseases such as cholera and dysentery. And if we go through some certain literature, certain studies, we will easily find that even some of the traces of COVID-19 virus was also found in the wastewater, which was untreatedly discharged into the environment, into the open water body. Now, benefits of the sanitization. It is basically for the well beyond reducing the limit of risk of diarrhea, reducing the intestinal worms. Basically, overall, it is reducing the infections, creating for the good health, for the survival of living forms, from plants to animals, and we consider humanity for the most important species on earth, then it is most importantly require sanitation facilities to survive on earth. Now, how science communication conserve for water conservation under SDG? These are some of the challenges we have already been discussed, from civil society to rural areas, from urban areas to commercial complexes. It was estimated in 2017 that 3 billion people would lack the ability to safely wash their hands at home. One of the cheapest, easiest, and most effective way to prevent the spread of diseases like the coronavirus. If we see the record since 200 or 300 years, we will find that in last 30 years, the world has faced the most number of epidemics, endemics, and pandemics. Pandemics is the first one. The second one, rather, 1918, it was the first one in the last century. So we must understand that we are on the edge of creating more and more endemics and epidemics, which will last long with us, with the humanity, if we do not understand. And it will definitely going to convert into the pandemic. This is the way how the science communication reaches to the society. When scientists academicians develop certain things, certain technologies with experimentation and applied in the field. And when it is called as in-reach and it is come to the outreach, then scientists through science communicators, journalists, museums, display their technologies, share the technology with the common masses, while involving certain government agencies, politicians who promote, bureaucrats who promote and give these things to the decision maker, and while involving the common masses, making them understand that why we are implementing anything. National Mission for King Ganga, one of the biggest water conservation plan initiated by Government of India in 2014. And recently, our Honorable Water Minister has suggested that by 2022 December, every drop of wastewater discharging into the Ravna river system will be stopped. So these are the very much good initiatives which were already being shared by the common masses, so that they can also get involved in these things and they can contribute for the conservation, involved in the conservation policies for the resources and for the future. Science communication will communicate with different benefits, solving problems, with implementing strategies, even making the understanding, creating the understanding for how directly and indirectly the strategy, the policy, and the conservation is important for the people. We are today money-minded people, but we must understand, if we are creating more life, if we are having the dirty water, we have to buy a water purifier. But if we are having the good quality of water, we don't have. We can save like 15 or 20,000. It's a hard-earned money. But now the money has the less value, but the natural resources have the more value. Today, in the right side, you can see that today we have the path the world is very much facing -6% of water quality level. But we must understand that the better path will be, especially for the Asia, because the most population of the world residing in this, two most populous countries are residing in this Asian part, China and India. For the education, we plan certain, this is the complex thing of an ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem, which I wanted to share. Like this complexity, we are correlated for the science communication from scientists, from communicators, from teachers, from policymakers, from regional communicators who will translate the science to the regional languages and give directly and indirectly understanding to the common masses. For the conservation, for the science policy, for the involvement of the people participation, for the change in the behavior, for the quick actions, for sharing the knowledge, for making them responsible to understand that we are responsible to conserve. We have to conserve that, to understand the responsibility. Governance and society are equally involved, and this knowledge actively shared by the people. We have today, in last 1 decade, number of trained communicators have been developed who are sharing the scientific knowledge, who understands, and we choose these communicators from the society itself. I'm a faculty. I have selected. I have developed certain things. I've developed certain communication things, tools. I developed certain sharing information. So I'll choose certain people from the society who can make people understand. Like there are certain primary school teachers, we can make them communicators to make the science, the conservation, the understanding reach to the society. But how SDG 6 is, why I have chosen this SDG 6 to share with you all. Because if we see the center point, the clean water and sanitation is directly and indirectly correlated with every sustainable development goal and is the solution, the basic solution to solve every sustainable development goal, from peace, justice, strong institutions, to no poverty, quality education, life on land, life below water, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, etc. We are gathered here to celebrate the 1-week program for World Water Day 2022. And the theme was the making the invisible visible. Being a researcher part, I'm working on the water quality like since 8 years. And for the groundwater quality for the 8 years. Like river systems, I'm monitoring like for 15 years. But I truly believe that like the river systems are important, similarly, the groundwater is important because it is a reserve. We have money in the pocket. It is important. But the money we have in the bank account, that is more important because that we require in the type of emergencies that we require when we have empty pockets. Similarly, when we have empty freshwater bodies or some droughts will happen, differently the groundwater will fulfill our needs. And I truly believe that today my presentation maybe have enlightened you and maybe help you all to give your contribution for the conservation of water and the water bodies. No matter if you find any tap which is not working well, which is open, you just close it. You have done your part. And if you close that single tap, if you find any tap anywhere, you just closing that tap, that's full and fine. You have done your part. Thank you so much for the presentation. I think I have not taken much extra time.
Thank you, sir.
No, sir, you have done with your time. Hello.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thanks for the beautiful presentation, sir. And it's very informative. Actually, we people are now budding into the science communication work. So one of our scientists, Dr. Mary Kuti Abraham, she already got a project from NCSTC, and she is also working on water conservation.
And what is her name?
Dr. Mary Kuti Abraham.
Abraham. Okay, because I am associated with DST NCC since like 8 years.
Okay.
Dr. Pampoj Kumar sir.
Okay.
Yes,
And recently another program, and which is an ongoing program, it is also on NCSTC, and which is on COVID-19, how it is impacting the health and environment. Actually, we are right now we are on the process on recording some videos, which can be an awareness video to the society, that we are working on that. Almost all the department, all the schools are involved. And actually, I'm proud to say the scientist is from my center. He's Dr. Ganesh Kumar, and I'm one of the co-PA in the project. And we are in association with visual communication people. So we are making that awareness video, and we are making it in all the languages in India, whatever language is available in India, and we are working on that. And apart from that, as a Center for Ocean Research is the nodal center for marine biotechnological studies, and we have been established with the Earth Science Technology Cell, and we are also providing the awareness for SDG 14 goals. Actually, basically, I'm a marine biologist, and for the past 3 years, I'm providing the as it is a science communication. I just want to highlight all the things here.
Definitely, I'll love to listen.
As all the people who are all being here, they may be interested in that. So we are creating awareness to the school students. We are making them to draw something, and we are making us to take some selfie on the pollution in the marine environment, like that. We are encouraging them in their own way of interest.
You're basically highlighting the ecological sites which are being contaminated, wearing the regional.
Yeah, that's what we are doing. And as we are all doing that, seeing a presentation, it gave more idea to us. So yeah, even the further communication with you, I think it will be helpful for me to even plan on the SDG 6 also. And thanks for the presentation. That's what I want to highlight here.
I just wanted to share with you two more things, that I am a science communicator since 7 years. 2014 I am practicing.
Okay.
And Dr. Pampoj Kumar is just like my mentor for this thing.
Okay.
And 2020 I have published that paper which I have shown you in my one of my slides.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yes. Right now we have 4 or more publications in the pipeline in the final publication phase.
Okay.
Which in very high impact journals. And right now with me, there is a project is going on the science communication part itself.
Okay.
Like you are developing the videos.
Okay.
To minimize the barrier of entire country.
Yeah.
Right. I am working to develop an Android and iOS based application.
Okay.
For the globe.
Oh.
To overcome any language. You will find any virus, any bacteria, any health hygiene issue related thing, their guidelines, their standard guidelines, which will be summarized and converted into native language. You will select that language, open the app, and you will find that you can read that guidelines in the native language, wherever, even in the Japanese, German, anyone across the globe.
Oh, that's a great initiative.
So right now we are working on that, and I'm associated with Dr. Pampoj Kumar sir, and even I think from Kerala there is from Madurai, there is Professor Nagaratnam.
Swaminathan Raghunathan. Right
yes,
now
yes.
I got a call from him, and he said, I know Gagan very well, and just convey my regards to him, like that. I got a message from him. Yeah.
He's just like my elder brother, and he's a very good friend of mine, always been motivating me.
Okay.
And Professor Nagaratnam, Dr. Pampoj Kumar sir, primarily, they are the motivating force why I am from a water scientist and being converted to a science communicator.
Okay.
All my students are working on the water quality because I'm monitoring river Ganga system for 15 years. Continuously, our lab is monitoring river Ganga and freshwater systems. So whenever you have something related to science communication partner, I'd love to be the part of that. Do let me know.
Yeah. Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. One of the wonderful presentation. So you have given awareness how this science communication is taking crucial role for meeting out the SDG 6.
Thank you.
Sir, I'm having one curious question. In conserving water in a sustainable way, See, one of the valid solutions is a traditional way of regenerating water bodies and aquifer recharge, taking measures to prevent the contamination of water sources. The government, we are taking steps and rather than taking steps in that side, we are talking about desalination, so that side only. And then on the other hand, the government is also allotting so many funds, the river cleanup projects, everything. But the science communication part before the project and during the project, after the project, I think it is failing and it is not able to communicate and it's not able to doing that part so that the people may not get that much awareness on this. So many crores are spent or going to spend for many the Ganga River, many projects. But what is going on? What is the output? What is the current situation? This entire thing is it's not achieving to the society actually. Now we are giving that awareness how this communication is important in protecting the resources. So how we can improvise that present scenario?
Your question is how we can improvise our
that science communication part. So government is taking many projects, but it's not reaching actually to the society.
Ma'am, very needy question today in today's world, because there are schemes available for every conservation thing available by the government agencies. Even many directly or indirectly plans have been initiated. What had happened, being a part of a faculty, and if I'm suggesting for a faculty, then we must understand that we should have daily morning whenever we reach to the office. I'm just saying in a very layman way. Whenever we reach to the office, there are certain people who open Facebook page, Instagram page, LinkedIn page. Stop it. There is no use of that. We must open WHO first, DST second, MOEF third, Ministry of Water Resources fourth, and fifth one, the most important, sophisticated and nice social media platform, which I suggest is Twitter. Why so? Because you will have the direct information within 2 lines. And if we understand where we have to click, like NCSTC, I met a scientist in 2013. She suggested me, why don't you apply for science communication? You are very good in communication and you just make the people, the students understand what the problem is regarding the environment. So I said, okay, I have applied. They invite me to Chandigarh for the presentation and I have just got the project. Why so? It's not that project was too good. It was that I have made them convinced that I will do that. Similarly, for this application in COVID-19, I do not believe that if we write a paper, that science communication is a tool to prevent COVID-19, just a single line title, and you will accept it into the Nature Group journal. Not that I have written this, but it is a common thing. If you go through that paper, you will find that every aspect of science communication, while defining the history of COVID-19, to how the science communication will counter the aspects, the social issues, the issue raised during the COVID-19, and how we can counter the fake information. You will easily understand that science communication is not a big thing. It is a common thing, but right now it is very uncommon. The most important what I can say is, and if I'll 1 or 2 paper of my lab from my lab are coming, they are basically for the behavior change. One of the most important aspect for the science communication is positive behavior. Like I have just given a topic, Sustainable Development Goal 6. It's a very broad topic. I think maybe I'm not being able to justify that topic, but it does take much more couple of hours to justify. Maybe not in that, but in a brief way, we must understand science communication means not writing big things. It is writing to the point wise and firstly minimize the language barrier. Science communication solution is minimizing the language barrier. Minimizing the language barrier. And if we see that science communication, or for anything, it is not only for the environment, it is for underprivileged people. For anything, the communication means understanding in the regional language. Always develop, because you are living very far from Haridwar. Always choose a communicator who belongs to a society. Very good. We cannot be a very good communicator in comparison to a primary school teacher. Why? Because he is directly and indirectly associated with the regional people. That is the most important. We are scientists. Somehow, anything we can do in communication, but our language, our terminology will come into the at least of middle level of science. Not at, okay, we avoid top level of science, but for making understanding basic level of science, we must focus that we should choose a communicator who know regional language very clearly, who are associated with the common masses. Who are associated with the common masses. Can I put a call on hold just for a second? Just for.
In between, I request participants who want to give any feedback about this program, they can raise your hands option and provide the feedback about the entire session. I'm talking about the all 5 days lectures or about this World Water Day celebration. If anyone want to be volunteer and provide the feedback, even it may be a positive or it even may be a negative feedback. If it is a negative feedback, we will try to improve ourselves. If it is a positive feedback, it's really good for us. So I request the participant to provide your feedback directly. Okay, please use the raise hand option, and we will make you to talk after the question and answer session. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very much sorry. Actually, I just got a call from my vice chancellor, so I just need to do that.
No issues. No issues, sir.
Yeah, so I was just telling that science communication should be focused from the regional level. Then only you can just solve any big problem.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Again, and yeah, yes, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am.
Sir, we can conduct some campaigns. So whatever the science facts and findings we found out from that investigation through campaigns, these things can be disseminated to the society, their language, in their language.
Exactly.
Right, sir. Yes.
For the science communication, you have to just overcome the language barrier. That is the best solution, the single solution.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the wonderful presentation. for me, this session is very more interesting because I'm more interested in communication. And almost when I got the call from Swaminathan Nagaratnam, I'm really happy that he said, Professor Gagan, he is one of my best friends, and you have chosen the right person to make the talk today. I think for this, I have to thank Dr. Silva Kumar from PhD. He only introduced introduce you to me, and thanks for Dr. Selva Kumar also for introducing you to us. And I hope from this day, I think I want to communicate with you to go ahead with the science communication program, even in SDG 14 level also. Thank you,
definitely.
Sir.
We will work together. We will work together. Definitely.
Thank you, sir.
Definitely.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. And if there is any participant, they want to give their feedback, please use their use your raise hand option. Or
I think my internet is might be possible. My internet is unstable. If anyone wants, I'll share with you my phone number and the Twitter account. You can just directly message or anything. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
We will share your email as well as your number to all the participants. It's not a problem, sir. Okay. I think Dr. Amit here raise hands.
But sir is
no issues, man. Dr. Amit, go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. First of all, very good morning to sir and ma'am for giving opportunity to join in this program. And during this all days program, I was quite busy, so I can't attend this all 5 days program. But I attended 3 days, and today I have attended the full program as my university is today holiday. So first of all, and for Gagan Matta sir already given all inputs and very precise, informative and summarized lecture on water. So that is the very wonderful lecture. And we all knows that today water is one of the best importance from morning to still in the night. We are just living based on water. Though I am not basically field of water biology, I am basically related to cancer biologist. But everywhere I can found that the cancer may be arise due to water also. So once again, thank you, ma'am, for giving me an opportunity. And thank you, sir and Bhuvaneshwari ma'am, for wonderful moderation for this program. And I, Dr. Amit Datta, presently head of the Department of Amity University, Amity Institute of Biotechnology, Amity University, Jharkhand. So thank you, ma'am. And thank you for a wonderful lecture.
Thank you for your active participation in this. Thank you.
Thank you.
In future also, we are expecting this sort of participation.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bhuvaneshwari?
Yes, ma'am. Any more feedbacks? Kindly raise your hand, dear participants.
Any suggestions from your side is also very welcome.
It's also open for suggestions so that we can improvise the next time while conducting the sessions.
Hello, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
This is myself, Dr. Pankaj Srivastava from Visakhapatnam, Geeta University. So I think, sir, this is the first time very few programs I have seen in the past also that related with the FDP on water conservation. So only one day, one lecture events I have seen in the past, but this is a wonderful program. So I think being a teacher, I will provide more information, whatever I have received from this program.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Okay, I think
next.
Thanks for the information. Thanks for the wishes from all the participants who are providing in the chat box. And there is no feedback form. Just we want to make you all to join the program, and we want to make use of that program only. We just announced that there is a feedback form. Actually, as it is a faculty development program, we cannot insist the faculty to come and join, because we can, if there is a students, we can insist them. But it is a faculty, we know the difficulty because they have to work as well as they have to participate in the program. So just to make you to
that's why we have given the topic, each day topic based on their own area of interest, research interest. They can, without fail, they can join in the particular session. In that way, it was also.
Yes, that's what. So there is no feedback from. Actually, I saw some of the messages. Where is the feedback link? So don't worry, there is no feedback form. Whoever registered, we will provide the certificate. But my only request, whenever you are registering for some program, at least be online. That will be seeing the more number of participants. That will help the speaker to provide the particular topic of interest in more enthusiastic way. If there is a less population, he or she will think that we have developed, we have prepared the slides this much, and we have worked for this much, and less participant, definitely it will give some kind of less impact on it. So that's what I'm asking to all the
motivation for organizers also.
Organizers also.
By saying.
But today we thank everyone for being joined with us, and I thank our management also, and I am very much thanks to Dr. Pakalashmi ma'am, because almost the other things and all definitely depends upon ma'am only, and thanks for her cooperation. I think ma'am, soon we have to work on that, because I think we have both alignment on this water resources area, and we have to work on that one. And thank you everyone.
The entire that coordination is also very good, sir. The day arrangements, theme wise. Anyhow, whatever we are doing, final thing is communication. So last day the theme is communication.
Communication.
So
that's
good,
what.
Good. In that way, also it is satisfied.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Actually, I think we have to thank our Vice Chancellor, ma'am, because she only provided this opportunity to conduct this World Water Day celebration. And thanks, Dr. Brigitta also, because even the link change and all, she helped a lot. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And my special thanks to Bhuvneshwari and Vinit and all the other students. So thanks everyone for being support for us. Okay. Thank you. And thanks all the participants. You will receive the certificate within a week or within 10 days, because we have to get the digital signature from the Director of Research. Then we will provide the certificate. So don't worry about the certificate. Whoever registered, you will get the certificates in your email. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
We can keep the mail IDs of the participants, because we are planning to conduct most of the programs like this.
Definitely, so that will be other programs also. We will inform you through the email. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank
sir,
you all.
If possible, we can ask the participant, whoever possible, on the video, and can take a screenshot. So, it will be very good.
Is it possible for? No, it's not possible. I request every participant to switch on their video so that we can take a screenshot.
You can ask the Bhuvneshwari to take a nice.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Just a second.
Thank you, Priya ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Amit sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your support, and have a great weekend. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We are ending up this program. Thank you.